Yes, I just did. I forgot our intro. Yes. Essie's like, why is there this big long pause? Because I was thinking.
You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
File access granted.
Hello, all you believers, idealists, skeptics, and all those who question the universe around them. I'm Bailey.
And I'm Ty. And this is Cult Talks Conspiracy.
Woohoo!
Summer at Sea.
Woohoo!
Yeah, this is it. This is the last trip.
We're on our last voyage.
We're heading back to port.
Yep,
It's
the last
all
one.
done. We've had a long summer at sea, and we've talked about a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Titanic,
Mm-hmm.
Atlantis, strange noises,
Mm-hmm.
terrifying experiments.
Yep.
And here we go.
Brainwashing and all that. And
All that. All
Oof.
kinds of craziness. And we're capping it off with if you're going to talk about the ocean and weird things, conspiracies and all that, of course, you got to pepper in some sea monsters.
Absolutely. And there's so many to talk about.
I forgot Megalodon. We did Megalodon.
We did Megalodon, yeah. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Megalodon today. We're going to talk about some of his friends. But it's been a lot. And like talking about sea monsters, I couldn't just pick one, guys. So you're going to get a few different ones sprinkled in today. It's going to be a little bit of a different vibe.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I just pushed my microphone away from me. So if you hear a little dawdle, everything's fine. Your car is fine. It was just me. So I'm excited. We're actually going to visit 3 different militaries today, because the biggest thing with this was having military naval sightings for this one.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I want to know what the seamen saw. I always kind of felt bad because, and I think this is just me being a little grotesque, that they're called seamen, like
Men of the Sea.
Men of the Sea. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. If it doesn't bother you, that's wonderful.
It's
but
a hard
I would
name to overcome, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like they call you like in the Navy. Like, don't you start? No, you start off as a private still, don't you? In the Navy.
I'm not too sure on my military ranking knowledge, but I'm pretty sure private is like where you start out.
Yeah.
I feel like. Yeah.
I don't know. The Navy's kind of its own little world. Like
all the branches act differently, but I'm pretty sure private is pretty standard. I don't know.
Okay.
Could be wrong. I'm definitely probably wrong. I know nothing about the.
I don't know. Sounds right to me.
And how they rank themselves.
If you are a seaman in the Navy, and you would like to give us some knowledge on how your ranking system works, we're always here to chat.
Absolutely. No disrespect, just ignorant to it.
We don't know. We don't know. Yep. We're not trying. I'm not trying to be upsetting or grotesque or anything. I'm just saying I don't know, and I feel for you if you're called a seaman, because people can be gross. But there's so many sightings that have happened over the years, and we're going to be talking. We're going to go back in time a little bit. We're going to start most recently, and then just kind of work our way back. But the main theme of today is you're going to hear about military sightings of sea monsters that occurred during war times. So that's the biggest thing.
So these are active military personnel.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so they're not just cruising around.
No, at the time of the sightings, they were active military.
Oh wow. Okay. Very interesting.
Yes.
All
so
right.
I am.
Are you ready, Bailey?
I'm very, very, very excited.
This is file number 025.
25. 25.
Landmark. Yeah, 25 episodes. Quarter of a way to 100.
So excited. So awesome. Halfway to 50.
Yeah, we're almost up to our year-long anniversary, too.
I know. It's next week.
Which next week, you guys will be getting a little added dose of Cult Talk Conspiracy to your feed, because next year is our 1 year or next week. Sorry, next week is.
We went all the way down. You're like year, month, week.
We're my way down. Next Tuesday is our 1 year anniversary, and we're going to do a little 1 year debriefing and talk about this year, all the stuff we've talked about, what we got in store up next, just all the things. Talk about starting Cult Talk Conspiracy and how fun it's been so far. But yeah, next week, make sure you guys check out
Absolutely.
the Cult Talk Conspiracy 1 year debriefing.
Yes. And how much we've learned. How much we've learned
absolutely.
too. Not only with just conspiracies in general, but like in the podcast sphere as well, because you've hosted your own show before. This is the first time we'll talk about it more in the episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's little snippets of what you're going to get from that episode. It's going to be a grand time. I'm super excited.
Oh, it will. It'll be a fun one. Me and Eric do a little thing like that every year. For Cult of Campbell, me and Eric do a 1 year, a year in review, we call it.
Mm-hmm.
And those are always really fun. So.
Yeah. They're fun to listen.
Yeah, are you ready to get into file 025?
I am ready. I think.
What's this one called, Bailey?
We are going to unseal Sea of Monsters, Naval Tales of Mythical Creatures. So we've talked a lot about World War II in the past year. I think I've learned more about World War II as an adult than what I ever did as my dad putting on World War II documentaries as a kid. That's zone out material. This is work. Okay. But today we're going to talk a little bit more about World War II. And this first one starting out is really, really, really fun. Ty, have you ever seen The Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
You have?
I've seen Little Mermaid. The animated. I'm not a Disney live action guy. I don't like the Disney live action ones. I haven't seen the live action one. I haven't seen any of the Disney live action movies, and I don't plan on it. Or I will say the live action remakes. I'm going to say the live action movies. I've seen plenty of live action movies from Disney.
Yeah, it's the live action remakes. I'm with you on that one.
Not going to budge.
Nope. I was disappointed. I was disappointed and continue to be disappointed. So now I just don't do it. But we're going to be talking about some mermaids and some mermaid sightings. And I want you guys to think about what we picture mermaids to look like, even in Peter Pan as well. When they're at the lagoon in Peter Pan and they have all the mermaids there and whatnot, even in the live action Peter Pan, not the new one, the older one, Hook is what I'm talking about. And they're these beautiful creatures, and they're absolutely gorgeous. They have if you don't know what a mermaid is, welcome from out under the rock. We all made it out, okay? But it's this half human woman or man, like torso all the way up, and then it's got a fish tail at the bottom, and everybody wants to be a mermaid. Anna wants to be a mermaid, and I'm like, Anna, you cannot be a mermaid. It's physically impossible. You cannot be a mermaid. She insists. So there are islands off of Indonesia where there have been a lot of mermaid sightings, especially that of both the Chinese and Japanese military. So each military said that these mermaids looked absolutely evil. So
they're not the cute mermaids.
They are not cute. I did not find anything about cute mermaids. If you want to be a mermaid, you are not going to be cute. You do not get to be a cute mermaid. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about what you'll look like. But a lot of people in these islands have actually claimed that these mermaids have sharp teeth and spikes. And some have even seen them, or some have even claimed to have seen them walk up on land as well. So they seem to be some sort of humanoid fish mix. There you go.
Okay.
So there were mass sightings on an isolated lagoon that Chinese soldiers had, accounted for off these Indonesian islands. And these Chinese soldiers had, noticed that the lagoon was very isolated. They decided to, take a rest. And then all of a sudden they hear this very loud splash. So they look over thinking, well, it must be a big fish or something, or, just in general, like, oh crap, someone's here. Because this was during wartime.
Okay.
And they look over and there is this thing that it's very humanoid figure, and it has pink skin, a large fish-like mouth, and webbed hands. Ooh. And they said they looked at the creature, and then the creature let out this loud, quote, unfriendly sound, end quote.
That's enough.
That's enough. I mean, if it doesn't sound friendly, let's go. And then all of a sudden, these Chinese soldiers said that there were more of these creatures that started coming at them and at a rapid pace in the water. They could just see like everything just start swimming up on them. So the soldiers began shooting. Like, what the hell is this? Like, absolutely not. I'm not. What's the one in Cabin in the Woods where he always wants the merman?
Yeah, the merman.
They were not.
That's pretty gnarly.
They were not going down by the merman today. So the soldiers began shooting at the creatures, and the creatures then swam away. Whether it was by noise, whether it was by the imminent threat of danger, whether they knew what the gun was and that it could, potentially kill them, we don't know. But we just know that they went away. Another soldier from the same regime actually poured water on his face, like got in the lagoon and like cupped water into his face and, washed his face. And he looked down into the water and he saw a humanoid figure looking back at him. So he reaches for his gun, shoots it, and after he shoots, he realizes it's gone. So in the time
it wasn't like a a reflection or anything. Okay.
Nope. He said this was not a human figure. It was not him. Not him at all. So that is a little story about what the Chinese military saw. Now, there's a Japanese sergeant who in the Key Islands wanted to be alerted if there was ever a mermaid found dead or killed on the islands, on the coast, in the water, whatever. He wanted to know about it. He wanted to know if someone had actually caught one of these things. So the natives of the Key Islands actually summoned him as one of the creatures was actually found dead on the shore.
Oh, wow.
And this, to this Japanese sergeant, was confirmation of the mermaid's existence. So he said that they were small pink apes with needle-like teeth and webbed hands. So kind of humanoid still going with that webbed hands, and then the sharpened teeth and spikes as well, still running along that same theme. But notably, there was algae all over it that made the creature appear green. So he took this to zoologists, and the zoologist said, "You're full of shit." They're like, absolutely not. So they did not believe the sergeant when he reported it back to them. But the residents on the island have actually been seeing these creatures since they're settling down on the Key Islands.
Oh, wow.
So basically for all of time for them, they've seen these creatures. But they called these the orangutan, which means human fish.
I feel like I've heard that before, orangutan. I don't know. I think I've heard that somewhere. It might be that Discovery Channel documentary.
Maybe.
That fake documentary.
The fake documentary. I want to watch this fake documentary.
You never seen Mermaids, The Body Found?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a fake documentary Discovery Channel did. That tricked a lot of people. I bought that. It's on Prime. I bought it. It's like $2.99. It's really good. It's really good. But it's all fake, but it's cool.
I love that stuff.
They talk about the bloop in it, like that's the source of the bloop is mermaids. It's really interesting. It's a good documentary. Right, well, a good movie, I guess.
Yeah,
it's not a documentary, but it's a good movie.
I mean, if you were to tell me, like, Bailey, we're gonna watch a documentary and then threw that on,
it fooled a lot of people. It came out in like 2005 or 4, and it fooled a lot of people. A lot of people were fooled because it was on Animal Planet, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
And it was presented like it was a real documentary. And it fooled a lot of people.
I'm pretty gullible, and plus I want this stuff to be real, so I'd probably believe it too.
I loved it when Animal Planet Discovery Channel did that shit.
Oh,
they quit doing it because they got so much backlash. Because it's supposed to be an educational channel, but they had like the mermaid. They had 2 of those. They had 2 megalodon fake documentaries. Those were fantastic, and they just quit doing. They had a couple of Bigfoot ones, like fake Bigfoot documentaries. They were really good.
Oh, yeah.
I own them all. I bought them all on Prime. So I love them. They're so fun to watch.
So I'm gonna come up and we're just gonna watch that all day on Prime.
Oh, absolutely.
Cool.
I love those fucking things.
Cool. So when the natives of the Key Islands described the mermaids, the orangutan, I hope I'm saying that right. They would say that the mermaids mostly kept to themselves, and that They were very territorial, and they would attack you if you got close. But if you kept your distance and just kind of minded your own business, they left you alone. But that would explain why the Chinese soldiers, why they had such sort of a hostile encounter with the creatures, is because they came into what was the mermaids' territory. And were like, hey, here we are.
Okay.
Hope there's no one here. And then there's mermaids. So those are the key island creatures. They're very, very interesting. It's very interesting that they've all been pretty much described the same way. They kind of, if you look up photos of them, you'll get like a bunch of different images of the key island creatures or mermaids. My favorite one is the one where it looks like a pink monster from the Black Lagoon. That's my favorite imagery of them. They're pretty interesting.
The pink ape thing you talked about that made me think of. Have you ever heard of the aquatic ape theory?
No. Well, it sounds familiar, but no.
So the aquatic ape theory is this theory. It was developed in the 1960s, and basically it's the idea that we evolved the way we are because our ancestors spent a significant amount of time in the water.
Oh,
because we're part of the primate, family, but we don't look like other primates. So the idea is that the offshoot that we originate from spent a lot of time in the water because, when you're in the water, obviously you wouldn't have a need for hair, so you'd be mostly hairless. The webbing on our fingers and toes is used, for water resistance, so we can move through the water. And our backs being straight.
Oh,
If you look at other apes or primates, they have arched black backs with slouches, things like that, slumped shoulders. But if you're in water, to maximize the depth you're able to get in and still breathe, standing on your feet, you would straighten your back to to achieve greater height. So that's an idea. It was developed in the 60s. It's not really considered to be too factual. Obviously there's other people that have probably more scientific or genetic reasons as to why we look the way we do. But it was a theory that was developed in the 60s, the aquatic ape theory, and some people kind of take that as maybe the evolution went further than that, and that's where mermaids come from. Maybe that branch, instead of returning back to the land, maybe there was an offshoot that just succumbed to the water as a permanent habitat, things like that. But yeah, it's interesting. Just the pink ape comment made me think of that.
Or it's all the people from Atlantis.
Yeah, it could
that
be.
evolved.
Could very well be.
Like, I'm here for that one. So that was the creatures. I want to look up the aquatic ape theory now, and then we might revisit mermaids because I feel like there's more.
You definitely check out that mermaids, the body found.
Is it?
Check it out. It's on Prime. It's like $2.99 or something like that.
Is it called Body Found?
I think it's called Mermaids, the Body Found.
Okay,
I think that's what it's called.
Okay, cool.
Or
cool.
Maybe it's called Mermaids, something.
Okay, we will find this.
It's good. There's two of them. There's a sequel to it. It's pretty good.
Oh, I want to watch it now. I want to watch. So we are going to move on to a little bit further in time. We're going to 1978. We're going up there. We're gonna be doing some weird stuff. Okay, guys, we're gonna be going all over the time frame here. So we're going to 1978 because there is a Knox class destroyer escort ship that goes by the name USS Steen. And boy, does she have a story to tell. In 1978, the USS Steen suddenly had an emergency. And listen, I don't know a whole lot about warships, okay? I will go ahead and put that out there right now. So if I make a mistake or I don't say something right, or, I'm leaving out a crucial detail about this ship, just please leave it in the comments and help educate me. Thanks.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
the frigate was, the frigate was actually forced to immediately reroute itself to home base during its maiden voyage, supposedly. So its radar system, which is responsible for IDing submarine threats suddenly went unserviceable. So the point of the USS Steen was to the point of that top part of the frigate that we're really going to focus on today, was mostly responsible for detecting different submarines in the area, pointing out threats, all of this good stuff. Bad stuff, not good stuff. Yeah. Also, torpedoes as well. Torpedoes are a very, very big deal when it comes to being a submarine in the sea, because you don't want to get hit with those. So the USS Steen was suddenly rendered unserviceable, which is not good, especially on its maiden voyage, the very first one out. Not good whatsoever. So when
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So when the USS reached a dry dock, Petty Officer Ira Carpenter went out to examine what had happened to the ship at a closer look. So there is a video of Ira actually speaking about the damage that occurred on YouTube. You can find it. All you really need to do is Google or put in YouTube USS Steen Petty Officer Ira Carpenter. It's beautiful. It's actually really good. It's actually really informative.
Okay.
So he says, quote, "We noticed there was some quite long scratches starting from the front and the side down under the dome itself." So they're talking about that sonar sensor underneath of the ship. So the longest one I'd say is about 4 foot long, Ira states.
Oh, wow.
At the bottom of 90% of these were cuts of something, and something was embedded in the rubber itself. So at the bottom of all these lacerations in this rubber, and we'll talk about the rubber here in a second, what it's supposed to do, are all of these little cuts and these little foreign bodies that are inside of these cuts. So Ira goes on to say that he had never seen anything like this before. So he took a closer examination into the tears. So he said he used a knife to pick out what he said looked like a claw. He actually turned to another officer and said, "Look here, looks like we've been attacked by some small alligators." So these cuts would actually go on to cover 8% of the sonar dome's surface, which is quite extensive. In that video, there is actually a piece of the rubber that's held up, and you can see all of the cuts, and you can see that the cuts go directly through the rubber. It's not like, it's a little scratch or anything like that. Like, it goes directly through. Now, the cuts that you're going to see that are in that video, and really the only ones we have photos of, are only about 2 inches. We don't actually get to see the 4 foot long one because it's underneath the water. But the biggest ones that we see are about 2 inches each. So, but I mean, that tells you like how strong this thing is, whatever it is that's cut this, that has done this damage. So the sonar dome, which we're talking about, actually laid at the front of this massive ship. And this ship is about 60,000 pounds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a big boy.
It's a big ship.
It's a big boy. That was where the sonar laid. And it makes the most sense, like, coming from a layman, that's like, oh yeah, that's exactly where you'd want your sonar to be to detect what's in front of you. So whatever this thing was, it came at them head on, under the water.
Shit.
So as Ira stated, they would go on and discover that the no-foul coating, which the no-foul coating actually slows the growth and detaches subaquatic organisms, which can attach to the hull and actually affect the performance of the hull, the hull being the ship, and it can do damage to the ship as well. So they put that no-foul coating on to help keep the subaquatic organisms off of it. So the no-foul coating of the dome was shredded with very large tears covering part of the surface. You really could not miss these tears when you were looking at them.
Yeah.
It looked like something had attacked them. The Navy would then go on to bring on biologist Dr. F.G. Wood, who was called to inspect the no-foul coating of the USS Steen. So he would actually note the size of the teeth he would actually note that the size of the teeth did indeed match the width of the tears on the coating. So it's then become clear to a biologist who was brought in by the Navy that yes, this wasn't something that was picked up along the way getting to the dry dock. This was something that whatever is embedded in this is what belonged to what did this damage. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yep. Okay. I was like, did I talk myself into a circle there? Or so some witnesses would even remark that the ship had looked like it was swarmed by a congregation of alligators, agreeing with Ira as well. Some of the crew members would, which I honestly think Ira may have started, been like, we were attacked by alligators. Which, I mean, so where was the U.S. Steen when it was attacked? It was actually near Ecuador in the Pacific Ocean, just off of South Africa. So it was pretty far away. It was out there. So Dr. F.J. Woods would actually conclude that the perpetrator of these markings would be that of none other than a squid.
Okay. So a big ass squid.
Yeah, very big. So Woods was actually photographed with one of the teeth that came from the Steen, which was roughly about the same size of his thumbnail, which is about 1.5 centimeters, 1.25 centimeters long.
Okay.
So you look at your thumb, that's about the same size as that claw tooth that was pulled out. According to Woods, and per his conclusion, especially given the size of that claw that was taken out, this squid had to be of massive size to leave that big of a claw or a tooth behind. So why a claw or a tooth from a squid? What is that? So he did actually confirm that the claws do appear on the suction cups of squids, and these are actually used to latch on and take down their prey. However, the size of these claws were completely unmatched to anything he had seen before in his career.
Kraken.
It is the Kraken. It is the Kraken. I mean, it ain't Cthulhu. Cthulhu will just eat you. Cthulhu don't fuck around. He's like, nope, you're done. Bye. But also, Dr. Woods did something that we really don't see today, which is a biologist coming out and saying that he did not negate that whatever hit the USS Steen could be something that was not undiscovered.
Okay.
So, number one, two things to take away from those statements. Number one, this giant squid was definitely attacking the USS Steen. Like, it was trying to take it down. It's like, this is food, mine, now. And number two, we have an expert coming out and saying, this could be something that is not discovered, that we don't know what it is. Which, for the U.S. military, is not normal. Let me tell you that right now. That is not normal. Not. We saw what happened with Roswell.
Yeah.
We saw UFOs. No, you didn't know it was a balloon. It was a balloon. Nope. Yep.
Yeah, it always does add some credence to something when the U.S. government comes out and says they don't know.
Right. And I mean,
they're always really quick to come with a cover-up story.
Exactly. And the thing with this story is no one that I have found, and again, full disclosure, I really want these things to be true, has come out and said, like, well, it could be this. Well, it could be something else. Well, this is of equal size and stature. It could be this. Everything points to a giant squid. So how big is this giant squid? Do you want to guess? How big it might be?
Probably 50 feet?
Huh?
70, 50 feet?
Oh, you're so close. 150 feet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
150 feet. So this would actually make this squid, or squids of equal stature, it would make the Arctical frontier a fearsome rival of none other than the megalodon. Which I tried to get a size for scale of a megalodon next to a giant squid, and I kept finding all these YouTube videos that was megalodon versus giant squid. I'm like, this is not what I'm looking for.
Mega shark versus giant octopus. That's a great flick.
Is it really? Is it in the Sharknado series? Can it be in the Sharknado
no, it's
series?
In the Mega Shark series. The Mega Shark series. That's another film series that I love.
I haven't seen the Mega Shark series.
Mega Shark versus giant octopus. Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus.
Oh, I've seen
Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark, and Mega Shark versus Colossus.
What's Colossus?
Fantastic. It's a giant Soviet robot.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I love those movies so much.
See, every time I talk, there's more and more movies that I need to watch.
Yep. They're not fair one, but I love them.
I know. I was talking with Ben about this the other night. Like, we need to sit down and just watch all the movies that you love, because I haven't seen them, and I want to know why you love
Shark
these.
movies are great. The Sharknado movies are good. The Asylum, I like the Asylum. That's my favorite. Like one of my favorite movie studios. They make nothing but garbage, but I love it. All of it.
They made something I saw that was.
They make the
pretty good.
Sharknado movies. That's what the Asylum makes.
That's true.
Then they make a bunch of like knockoffs. They like do like transmorphers and shit like that.
Transmorphers.
Yeah.
They morph instead of transform.
Exactly.
So there are some debunkings that go on with the USS Steen. And
okay. So I've heard about the Steen.
Yes.
I've never dove too much into it, but I've always heard about it.
It's a fun one. It's a really, really fun one. I really enjoyed this. I saw this one and I went, hold up. So again, one of the debunks is that this 4-foot long tear has yet to be seen. We do not have photographs of this 4-foot long tear. We only have the 2-inch ones, which really brings into question the validity of how bad this damage actually was. So I know we said that it was during the USS Steen's maiden voyage that this happened. However, nobody really knows. And the reason for that is because the USS Steen took its maiden voyage in 1972. This story was not released until 1978.
Okay.
So I would understand why on your maiden voyage you wouldn't want it to get out that a boat was damaged, or not a boat, a ship, excuse me, was damaged, especially one that you are going to use in war, because the USS Steen actually went on to be a part of many, many battles. I actually believe that it was a part of the Mexican Revolution. I don't know. I hope I'm not fucking up right there. I really hope I'm not fucking up right there. But it went on. It went on. However, the USS Steen's maiden voyage was from California to South Africa. And this incident supposedly happened near Ecuador, off the coast, just off of South Africa. So it fits. It absolutely fits. But it still begs the question, why was it not reported to the public for 6 years? Could this be a military cover-up? Could this be,
maybe
you know,
that's what I would kind of think, maybe.
Because the video that you'll see is from that day. It's from the day that they discovered the wreckage, or the wreckage, the damage, I guess. But
it's just him like describing the was like a news report or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like that news report where they're interviewing the person, and they're letting them have it, and then Dr. F.J. Woods actually is holding up a piece of the rubber, and I mean it's cut really weird. Like, it's cut into like a square and a rectangle piece together, which, I mean, I guess if you're like having to go underwater, you're not really going to worry about the shape that you're cutting out. But it's just like, it's straight lined is the thing. And I'm like, why would you? Like, it looks like they were trying to not cut a piece off is the thing. It looks like they wanted to keep a piece on the boat, so they cut around it, to me. But then again, I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical of the military. I'm not skeptical of the military. I'm skeptical of the government. There's a difference there. You know what? We're just going to roll the clip. Essie, we need you to roll the clip. Please? Thank you.
Do it.
Out of San Diego, the U.S. Navy frigate Stein also had a weird encounter. The Stein's anti-submarine sonar gear suddenly went U.S., unserviceable. She sailed home. Once the family reunions were over and the ship was in dry dock, Petty Officer Ira Carpenter went down to examine the underwater dome.
We noticed that there were some quite long scratches starting from the front and the side and down underneath the dome itself. The longest one, I would say, was about 4 feet long. At the bottom of each one of these cuts, or at least 90% of the cuts, was something embedded underneath the rubber coating itself. Of course, I was interested to determine what that was. I had never seen anything like this before. This type of damage was brand new to me. So I used my knife to pick out this foreign object underneath the no-foul coating. And it looked to me like it was a claw. And I quipped to my SW officer at the time. I said, look here, it looks like we have been attacked by a bunch of small alligators.
Navy biologist F.G. Wood.
This is a small piece of the no-foul covering that was taken from the sonar dome of this ship. In many of these cuts were found teeth or claws, such as this one. And it's apparent that whatever did this damage grasped the dome and ripped all the way through this rubber covering to the metal below.
The claw it looked like it had been wrenched out of whatever had put it there.
I think that it must be from a squid, because squids do have claws or hooks similar to this. Nothing else that is known in the ocean has structures of this kind. This doesn't rule out something that we haven't found yet.
So the incident was first reported by the U.S. Naval Institute's magazine in 1978. And I tried really, really hard to find this article because I really, really wanted to quote from it. And I could not find this article. I found a bunch of articles about the article, but I could not find the article itself. So apparently that is one piece of print that did not make it onto the online forum. I even went to the Naval Institute's website. Like, there's a website in place of the magazine right now, and I could not find it through the website. And I'm like, what the frick? I want to know. I just want to know things. I just want to know if we were attacked by a giant squid. That's all I want to know.
I just want to know.
Just want to know. I don't. I think a captain, a very decorated naval captain speaking at a luncheon is a very good thing. However, that's not what I'm here for. So. And then this incident would later be featured in a TV miniseries with its accompanying book. And it would go on to create many stories of the Kraken, sea monsters, and create many, 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 many different conspiracy theories on if this was possibly Cthulhu. Personally, I subscribe to the giant squid theory. I still think there are giant squids out there in that we just haven't really discovered them or they haven't come out to see us.
There's absolutely giant squid. I mean, it's a giant squids. The colossal squid is it's a scientific fact.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I
Giant
feel
squid
dumb.
giant squid is that's a fact.
I feel dumb now, Todd.
You never seen that? You didn't know that? Yeah, the giant squid. Yeah, they've the giant squid. Maybe not like these gigantic, like mythical.
That's what I'm thinking, are like these mythical
portions,
sizes.
but I mean, they're like the 100+ feet long squids. I mean, that's something that's been discovered. The colossal squid, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not these gigantic, like 1,000-foot,
Mm-hmm.
city destroyers or whatever.
Oh my gosh,
But,
it's just creepy. I don't like it. It's creepy.
Giant squids, real.
Ugh. Debunked. It's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah, I think
guys.
they found those because it's been, we've found tentacles and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I know one of the things they found, a lot of backing was found on like whales.
Mhm.
They would find these giant, sperm whales or orcas or whatever, and you would see them and they'd have like the scars from the suckers on them. They'd be like massive, So they discovered that, but no, they've actually caught it on film. They've got the giant squid on film.
Freaking cool. Like giant squids to me just look like aliens. Like, have you ever watched like documentaries on like deep sea creatures and whatnot?
Yeah, and just squids in general are like super intelligent. They're impervious to disease. I mean, it's wild.
Nope. I don't want to be. I kind of subscribe to Ben's theory on horses with this one. I don't want to be anything around anything that big and that intelligent by myself. No. I don't want to do that. No, because at any freaking moment, that thing could be like, I'm done with you, peasant.
Yeah.
Bye. So I learned something today. That was wonderful.
There you go.
It's not really a theory anymore. Okay. So we're going to go back to World War I now, and we're going to talk about an actual monster. And we're going to visit the Germans. Yay. In World War I. So we're going to talk about the sea monster that took down the German sub. I'm really excited about this one because there are conflicting reports on this one, and it's from 1918, so it's a little bit further back than where we were. But I'm really excited. So this happened on April 30th, 1918, where Captain Gunther Kirch, I think that's how you say his name, and his crew were captured by the British Royal Navy in their warship, His Royal Majesty, the Corpius. Corpius?
Ooh.
I think it says Corpius. So they were captured. And when Captain Kirch was questioned about what had happened to his submarine, the UB-85, which was a German U-boat, he and his crew claimed that they were attacked by a sea monster, which rendered the sub unable to dive back down. So the way that they were caught, they were actually they had abandoned sub, and they were actually on these standing paddle boats. It was really weird looking, the photo that I saw. I'll send it. We'll have it. We'll pull it up. Essie, pull it up. Actually, he's only audio. We can't do that to him.
Yeah.
Make the picture have sound, Essie.
I don't know what you want from me. Is this it? Is this what you wanted?
All right. So the crew member, along with Captain Kirch, would describe this monster as having horns, small, deep-set eyes, and big teeth with lots of them. And they actually... It's scary. It sounds kind of like a Godzilla creature, to be honest with you. Yeah. So they claimed that the weight of the sea monster is actually what caused their submarine to tilt over as it tried to climb onto the side of the sub.
Jesus Christ.
Very, very big. So they said the monster actually began to attack, biting large chunks out of the UB-85, which would ultimately force the crew to abandon their ship and surrender to the British once caught.
Jeez. So this thing was ripping pieces out of the ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Christ.
Just like a candy bar. Nom nom nom.
Damn.
So there are such as Ian's McCartney, INNES. What we're going to say. Because the only other option I have for that is Innens, and I don't think that's your name. If it is, I'm sorry for mispronouncing it. But Ian's McCartney, pardon, a historian and a marine archaeologist of Bournemouth University, that's where we're going, who did not believe Captain Kirch's sea monster tale. Now, first of all, number one, I did not know there was a job title labeled marine archaeologist. I mean, it makes total sense because, a bunch of shit has sank down there. However, I would dig that job. I wouldn't go down there for shit. You can't pay me enough to go down there, but I'll study it. However, during this time, the Western Link was actually being created by the Scottish Power, and this was in the southwest of Scotland, which is about where the UB-85 sank. So the Western Link would actually be the largest stretching in the world. That would be underwater. The link would actually go above land and then subside into water, and it would overall be about 230 miles long, and it would connect with the west coast of Scotland all the way to Coy Bay. This link is actually a high voltage direct current, or an HVDC, which allows the transfer of power between grids. It's basically a super highway of electricity.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool until you go to war with somebody, and then they're like, I'm just going to shut your power off. Bye. At least I think that's how that works. That's the disadvantage I immediately go to in my head. So there were actually a lot of subs in this area that sank during this time because of World War I and because of this being built and all of that. So sonar scans were done, and McCartney actually said, yes, on the sonar scan, you can locate a ship. You can locate a submarine that is down there. However, There is no way to tell which sub it actually is, because it could actually be that of the US-85's sister submarine, the did I say US? I meant UB-85. It actually could be the sister sub of the UB-22, which is actually halfway between the wrecks, where, as legitimately documented. So
are these like too far to even like get down to, or is it too dangerous?
McCartney stated that as of 2017, I believe that article was in, he had not found a crew that was willing to go down there and go get it and go see it. Because the only way to do it now, the only way to prove that it is that sub is to go down there and look at the numbers.
And how far is it down?
I don't know. I wasn't expecting that question.
It's far enough, right?
It's far enough. I mean, it's far enough to not get a
far.
crew down there.
Yeah, it's too far.
160 feet.
Okay.
160 feet down. 50 meters. I feel like we've gone 50 meters down before.
Yeah, it's probably just like the you gotta go out to the middle of the ocean, go down 150 meters. So 150 feet. I mean, that's still a long way down.
Oh, like it's only 150. Go.
Yeah.
Go do it. I'm not going. Y'all go.
No.
I ain't going. So there is someone out there who does believe the captain's story. And that is none other than Gary Campbell, who runs the official sightings record for none other than Nessie. Oh, yes. He runs all of the recorded sightings of the Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
And he had a pretty funny take. I know we mentioned a little bit everywhere. I was once I saw that pop up, I was like, oh, of course we can't do a sea monsters episode without mentioning the Loch Ness Monster.
Gotta mention Nessie.
Oh my gosh, yes, she's gorgeous. I miss her. Please come back. So, and Gary would go on to say that the area of sea where the attack took place actually has a history of multiple sea monster sightings, even adding what the German captain said may very well be true. It's great to see how Nessie's saltwater cousin clearly got involved with the war effort. She even managed to do some damage without killing anyone. Because in fact, none of the crew was killed. All of them survived.
Damn.
So while the majority of these counters that occurred at sea have been sealed by the British government, there was one record that did get released. And of course, it's a debunk. It's a debunk, Ty. It's a debunk. But it's one of the most entertaining debunks I've ever heard, which is why it's here. So one of Captain Kirch's crew members actually recalled that Captain Kirch was very chilly. It was very chilly on the submarine. I would imagine it's very cold down there, you're underwater. It's chilly, cold,
absolutely, yeah.
around a bunch of metal. I wouldn't have fun. So he had a heater fitted for the officers' quarters that ran from the main hatch down into the officers' quarter. But there was one problem with this heater, is that it did not allow for the main hatch to close properly. So if you had to close the main hatch, you had to make sure that that part of the heater that was obscuring the hatch from closing was completely out of the way, whether you took the heater off the submarine or pulled all of its accessories back in. Either way, it couldn't be there. So when the Germans saw the British warship approaching, they very, very quickly thought they had closed the hatch and then started to dive, filling the UB-85 up with seawater, forcing its crew to abandon ship and surrender to the British, therefore creating the sea monster.
And then you quickly make up a sea monster story.
Yep, as one does.
So we're all in this together, right? It's a sea monster. Like, right. Yep. Sea monster.
It's down there. It's there. So this was wild. This was fun. I really wanted to, have a little bit more campy stories today, and some, whodunits, who's in the water type of stories. So this is enjoyable for me.
Got him. Yep. Fucked up. Classic fuck up.
Yep. Fucked up. Now there was a monster. Sir, there was a
that's just a
monster.
cover story. Or that's just a cover story.
Or it's just a cover story. It could very well be a cover story because there were a lot of monster sightings and unexplained sightings, and especially with electricity being that close to there. So water itself already produces a lot of electricity. So my thing is, and just hear me out here. This is Bailey's spiritual side coming out. Is like, so water is kind of, it's also a gathering point as well. So you create all of this energy and then you put even more energy into the water. And it's going to sound like a little bit of a Godzilla theory here, but hear me out. What if that link was attracting larger creatures via frequency, electricity, waves, whatever, electrical waves, not like woo waves. What if it was attracting sea monsters over to that? And then
there's a story kind of relates to this. So fiber optic cables. There was I think it was like AT&T or one of the big communications companies had started feeding fiber optic cables in the ocean. That was the way they were going to do these big communication fiber optic cable links. And what they found was like they set those in, and those would basically become like feeding frenzies where those cables were sharks and all sorts of stuff would get drawn in because drawing sea life and the frequency, the vibrations, all that would set off these creatures. They'd all come in. And it was really dangerous to service them. So they had to come up with different coatings and stuff for them. But yeah, that was one of the initial like follies found when we was trying to set up like communication lines through the ocean, was that those cables would attract various sea life and become kind of like hunting grounds.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because we're not supposed to be down there.
Yep.
We took the land. We let them have the sea.
Yep.
I'm very don't put tech in the sea. I'm like, nope. I'm barely here for oil rigs. I'm barely here. Like I understand. I know. You don't have to tell me. But I mean, that's just the thing. Like, just leave it alone. Stop polluting it. Stop. Like, not saying that electricity will like pollute it. However, you start putting tech down there, and it's like once you start, you don't stop. Clearly, we saw it with skyscrapers.
Absolutely, yeah.
So those are my three little docu encounters. The thing I really want to know is like how big was the squid that attacked the USS? That is the number one question.
It sounds monstrous. That one's definitely I'd say the scariest one out of the bunch. That one's just wild. It sounds like it was massive.
Right, because, and I mean, the thing wasn't like, it's not kind of like a shark where sometimes it'll just come up and like nudge you and like you're fine. That thing had the steam. It had it in its grips.
Yeah.
It was ready. And like, I mean, they suddenly had to just go back and dock. So, I mean, when they started to go back and dock, does that mean that's when the squid let go? Well, like, how did the letting go happen?
Yeah,
don't know.
That's crazy.
I can just imagine someone praying off the side of the ship, like, please, no. This is not how I die.
Yeah, it had to have been terrifying.
Absolutely. Like out there in the middle of the ocean, like, and I mean, I don't know what a dry dock is. Does that just mean it's a dock that's not serviceable? I wonder.
The dry dock?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like it's something for submarines, I think. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a submarine docking station of some kind.
Oh, a dock which can be drained of water to allow inspection and repair of ships' hulls.
Okay.
Interesting.
So they park, they pull a ship in, they drain it, and they have.
Yeah, it looks like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can just pull it in there. Submarines are such a.
You see that, listeners? That's what a dry dock is.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah, Essie made it have sound.
Yeah. But yeah, this was fun. This was fun. This is a good way to end Summer at Sea. This has been a fun little event we did.
I thought this one was going to be a little off canter. Plus, like getting ready to go into the year in review, as well. Be a little bit more fun with it. I know everyone was expecting me to do Cthulhu. I'm sorry, he's not ready. He's not
Oh,
ready.
Cthulhu will get brought up here shortly. Here in a few,
oh my gosh.
here in a month
he's
or so on
awesome.
another show.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was Summer at Sea, the final voyage. We talked about some sea monsters and the military. Fun way to end things. And like Bailey said, we have our year in review coming up, and then we have just a couple episodes before we go into Culttober. And we've got a lot of fun things planned for Culttober. So
so
make sure you
much.
keep your ears open for that one. That's going to be fun. Yeah, this has been a really fun event. Summer at Sea. Definitely going to make this a yearly thing. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
And a good way to spend the summer, just questioning everything about the ocean.
Yep.
There's a lot to question.
Absolutely.
It's a vast array of mystery down there. Endless depths.
We could go on.
Mysteries.
We could go on for a long time. We could honestly probably do a full year of just sea encounters.
Probably.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the same with cryptids though, as well. Like you could do, if you just covered like all the different sightings and, maybe one day we should do, or like it would take a while, but do like 50 cryptids for all 50 states.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
We can just use your map.
We'll have to plan that. Yeah, that'd be something to plan. That'd be fun.
No, it would be fun.
I could be down for that.
I do want to go to Bigfoot Ridge. Speaking of cryptids,
yeah, Bigfoot Ridge. That's cool.
I'm excited. I want to go. I want to go. I want to go see the Bigfoot. If I'm ever going to see Bigfoot, I know I have to bring Ty because Ty's seen him like what, twice?
Twice. So supposedly. Allegedly, I've seen it twice.
I think he saw it. I think he did. I think he did. But
I don't think I did. But yeah, yeah. This has been fun.
I can't believe we're almost at a year.
Almost a year. We're almost here.
Oh my gosh. It flew by. It flew by so much. We've talked about so many different things, and we're not getting ready to stop. We've got so much more to talk with you about, especially with Culttober, like Ty mentioned. I love Culttober. I can't wait. Can we go ahead and do it now?
Yeah, Culttober is a jam-packed month.
It really is, all across the board.
This year's Culttober is insane. So
it really is.
Make sure you guys follow us and support us in that, because it's going to be wild. We've got all kinds of different stuff planned. From Cult Talk Conspiracy, Cult of Lore, Cult of Campbell. Just the Culttober episodes we got, which we might have some news on those here shortly about a new way you can listen to those. But yeah, it is going to be one hell of a month, and but between now and then, we still got plenty of Cult Talk Conspiracy left. I got a fun thing planned heading into it, so it's definitely going to be. We're not slowing down any. We're reached a year, and we're only going to explore more from there. So we thank you guys for joining us on this summer voyage, Summer at Sea. Cannot wait to come back for this next year. I'm already thinking of some things to do for it, because there's still a lot we didn't get covered in this. There's like Bailey said, there's dozens of conspiracies that have to do with the ocean that we could cover at a certain point. So Summer at Sea definitely going to be a revolving thing. But that's it. Summer at Sea. Next episode, of course, you guys can join us for our big 1 year debriefing, which is next week. You don't have to wait long for it.
No.
It's going to be fun. And we're going to talk about everything we've done this year, the friends we've made, the experiences we've had, starting a podcast, all that fun stuff. Just a nice way to celebrate 1 year of Cult Talk Conspiracy.
There's so much.
Thank you all for listening, because I mean, if it wasn't for that, there would be no reason to do a podcast for a year and keep going.
Absolutely. You guys are literally the reason that we do this. Like
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You guys truly are number one. Like, thank you guys so
this has been a big year for Cult Talk Net. 4 shows. We got the biggest Culttober coming up.
Yep.
We've ever done. This is a 2023 huge year for us. Thank you guys for listening. We get to celebrate a year of Cult Talk Conspiracy next week. Anything else you want to add, Bailey?
Where can they find us, Ty?
They can find us at Cult Talk Net. That's across the board: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the things. Instagram is the best place to keep up with us. I post pretty regularly on there. Make sure you follow all the podcasts. Cult Talk Conspiracy. We're here every other Tuesday we'll be here next Tuesday. So
Yee.
a little bonus. Follow Cult of Campbell, which comes out on Mondays. It's on a little bit of a hiatus, little inconsistent, just because we're focused on other things. But it will be back in full swing come Culttober. That comes out on Mondays. It's our Bruce Campbell themed podcast. It's been running for 2+ years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of content there. If you're just discovering it, you got plenty to catch up on. Cult of Lore comes out every first and third Thursday of the month. And make sure you check out youtube.com/culttalknet for a really cool, in-depth, animated, full-length episode they do. They work really hard on it, so make sure you support them there. Give us a follow on youtube.com/culttalknet. And if you're still craving summer, if you haven't had your fill, go back and check out American Pie Slices, our very first limited summer event that Mike and I did, where we revisited the 1999 teen comedy classic American Pie in depth, had some beers, told some stories. It's a really fun podcast. 6 episodes. It's a good listen. But there you have it. This is Summer at Sea, final voyage. We're docking, and we're going to keep on rolling from here on out. But we'll be back in the ocean next year, probably.
Yeah.
But until then, I've been Todd.
I'm Bailey.
Question
everything.